program is brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana. Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. I'm Botswana'S. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Every so often here on the program, we bring to your attention stories that we believe shed a light on what is possible with hard work and persistence to see your vision through. Well, this evening we bring to you Kwa Nokeng Oil, Botswana's leading privately owned petroleum company. The oil company erected its first commercial fuel depot in 2006, streaming 1 million litres of fuel per annum. At present, the company has over 5 commercial fuel depots, streaming in excess of 90 million litres of fuel annually, with over 250 employees, some of whom joined the business in the 70s. However, it wasn't always like this. The Kwa Nokeng Group was established in 1968 in the humble village of Machaneng, when the only vision then was to focus only on retail operations. It was only in the 2000s that the group steered the company's direction towards commercial fuels and oil as a wholesale supplier. It is through that we have Kwa Nokeng Oil today, being the largest privately owned commercial petroleum company in the country, with depots in Maung, Letlhakane, Phalape, Tlokweng, Francistown, Martinsdrift, Pandamatenga, Mamuno, Lobatse, Kazungula, and of course in Gaborone, where the headquarters are. Certainly, it is no easy feat growing a company to this size. We have engaged the company's CEO Mahube Mpugwa to give us some details on the company, starting off with a brief background into Kwa Nokeng Oil.
Kwa Nokeng Oil started off in 1968 as a family business. It started off in the village of Machaneng with a small service station there. And then it evolved to now becoming a trucks, with one truck stop actually in Martinsdrift. The truck stop was purely to serve cross-border transporters, because as you know, there's a border there and there's a lot of trucks coming through from other SADC countries through Martinsdrift into South Africa. So we set up a truck stop there. And then in 2006, the company grew and extended its network to another depot or truck stop in Pandamatenga. And this was all driven by the founder of the business, Clinton Van Vuren. And then it has since evolved to have 11 depots across the country, and has brought in other shareholders into the business. So Clinton Van Vuren remains the majority shareholder, but we brought in a private equity fund also as a shareholder, which I believe was a show of confidence on the business and then its strategy. And we have since grown also and moved into other areas, including lubricants.
The CEO attributed the success of that business to recognizing the gap within that sector of operation and then focusing on bridging that gap.
So our primary focus, as mentioned, is on transporters, cross-border transporters. So we identified a niche in that space because there's a lot of movement in the SADC region through Botswana into South Africa, or from South Africa into the rest of SADC. So we basically wanted to support or provide fuel for those transporters, the cross-border transporters. And that is why we started off with those depots in Martinsdrift, Pandamatenga, and we have now, extended our network to cover other borders. We have a depot in Lobatse, we have a depot in Mamuno, and we've also looked at other areas, strategic areas around the country where we believe we can continue to support cross-border transporters. That is really our core business. So we see ourselves as a facilitator of trade across the SADC region, and also to ensure that, as goods move, we are able to provide assistance to transporters. So let me give you an example. We don't only provide fuel, we also provide roadside assistance. So if one of the trucks has a breakdown or whatever, we send our technicians to assist. If there are issues relating to permits, issues relating to weighbridge and all those things, we're able to intervene. So what we try and do is to give the fleet owner that peace of mind to that, as his truck or her truck moves across Botswana, he doesn't have anything to worry about, because any issues will be addressed by Kwa Nokeng. So what it does, it gives confidence that Botswana as a transit route for their trucks is actually the right choice to use to move goods into the rest of the SADC region.
He adds that journey has not been without its fair share of challenges, the biggest being interruptions to the supply of the commodity that they deal in.
Yeah, so we're in the petrol industry or the fuel industry, as you may know. So our biggest challenge, and it's not only for Kwa Nokeng, I believe it's an industry issue. It's got to do with supply. Botswana, for the longest time, we've been relying on imports from South Africa. I would say 95% of imports from South Africa. And we have seen a lot of disruptions in the supply chain that has helped, that they've had an impact on Botswana. So the issue really is how then do we guarantee security of supply for our operations? And that is, brought us to look into other areas like Mozambique, Namibia. But however, we believe that we also need to work with the regulator. We also need to work with the Department of Energy to actually bring these two alternative routes into the core of our business and reduce our reliance on South Africa.
As the world is now working to transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy, Mpugwa says this has not been something that has affected them as yet, as a business that is based on fossil fuels commodities.
The issue of energy transition from fossil fuels to renewables, obviously, is something that is top of mind for anyone in the oil industry. As much as it hasn't impacted on us now, we believe that at some point we'll have to deal with it head on. So what are we doing as Kwa Nokeng? We're talking to some of our customers, because we are noticing that some are already now moving into hybrid vehicles. We're looking at how can we support those hybrid vehicles through our network. How can we upgrade our existing infrastructure to ensure that we continue to support those that are actually moving into hybrids and all that. So it's something that we are very much, like I said, it's top of mind for us. We are working with colleagues, we are working with our customers to see how we can prepare ourselves for that eventuality. But what we have done also as Kwa Nokeng is really to say, okay, what are we doing as a company to ready ourselves for this transition? So one of the small steps that we have done is to convert our depots to rooftop solar as a source of energy for our operations. So we've already done that at one of our depots in Mahube, and we're looking at rolling that out to the rest of our sites. It will be gradual, but at least what we are doing is not just to sit and fold our hands, but to say, okay, how can we, start also getting ready or readying ourselves for that transition.
In closing, the CEO shared that as much as the transition to renewable energy has not affected them as yet, they have, however, started working on how they can be part and parcel of the transition in future.
Well, it's still early days, but the reality is that, there's this energy transition that we need to deal with. So it will take Kwa Nokeng working with other industry partners, working with the regulator, working with the Department of Energy to say, okay, how then do we define the future of the industry, in realization of all these changes. So how then do we define our future? But as a company, like I said, we are engaging our customers. We've got partners that we work with to say, how do we prepare ourselves? it's still early days, and I think it will take a collective effort of the oil industry, the regulator, and the Department of Energy to actually define the path forward. But again, for us, as mentioned, we're already doing our small steps. So, we're already rolling out the rooftop solar to some of our depots. While talking to some of our transporters about these hybrid trucks, how can we support you? And really trying to appreciate the new technologies that are coming in and whether we'll be capable or able to actually be able to implement them, or if there are any gaps, what do we need?